Before you pack anything, pack these. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife and today I am taking you through all of the books that I genuinely think you need to have in your suitcase this summer. If you're going on holiday to the beach, if you're taking a little city break, if you aren't going anywhere, you're just sitting on your couch, these are definitely the books that are going to give you that kind of summer vacation vibe. I'm going to start off strong with one of the first steamy romance books that I ever read, and that was the On Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. This is set on the island of Maui in Hawaii, and you really do get that Hawaiian vibe in this book. Here you're following Olive and Ethan, who are going on honeymoon for their respective siblings. Olive's sister has married Ethan's brother, and everybody at the wedding, except for Olive and Ethan, ended up getting food poisoning from the buffet. So, to keep the deposit, because the honeymoon was non-refundable, Olive and Ethan have stepped up to the plate. The problem is that Olive and Ethan absolutely despise each other. They've never gone along. Even from the first moment that they met, there were fireworks between the two of them, and not the good kind. But they are determined to just put that to the side just for this 1 week and try and get along with each other. This is a kind of an enemies to lovers romance. There is an only one bed trope in here, which I absolutely adore. But you also get some really phenomenal vibes of Hawaii. You get to watch them go out on the beach. You get to watch them having a massage. You get to watch them eating this absolutely delicious dinner together. I really, really loved this book. And if you are any way like me and you just want to escape to Hawaii for a week, this is the one to go. Next up is The Layover by Lacey Walden. This is set in Belize and it follows Ava, who is a flight attendant. She is retiring. This is her final flight before her retirement. And it just so happens that on her flight is Jack. He was a former pilot and he is just taking the flight for himself, but they have clashed pretty much as soon as they met each other. The problem is that their plane malfunctions and they have to be stuck in Belize for a couple of days. Now, that sounds like my dream, being stranded on a Caribbean island with rum, with fantastic food, with beaches, with sunshine. But for Ava and Jack, this might be a recipe for disaster considering they've never gotten along with each other. But a little bit of forced proximity comes into play and Ava and Jack realize that maybe they do get on a little bit better than they were expecting. Next up is Shipped by Angie Hockman, and this is set off the coast of Ecuador on the Galapagos Islands. This book has been kind of described as the hating game meets the On Honeymooners, and when I get further into the plot, you'll find out why. This book follows Henley, who is working as a marketing agent, and Graham, who has just come into her company working on kind of social media, and they are both up for a promotion. They're both up for a new ad campaign to promote the Galapagos Islands. Both of them are sent to the Galapagos Islands for a week to put their pitches together, to work on seeing the island, to know what they are talking about and sound a little bit more put together for the presentation. But Graham and Henley don't get along. Henley is convinced that Graham is out to steal her thunder. He has undermined her a couple of times in the workplace, and she's not his biggest fan. But when they get to the Galapagos Islands, are things about to finally start going in Henley's favour? For some reason, I've never really thought of the Galapagos and of Ecuador when you're thinking about going away on a beach trip. I think mainly because it is just too far away for me. So reading a book that is set there is kind of like a happy medium for me. Next up is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is my favourite of Emily's books. It was her second book, and you're following Poppy and Alex. Poppy is a travel writer and Alex is working as a teacher. And every summer for 10 years, they used to go away on holiday together and just relax, shut down, and let Poppy kind of work on her travel writing and put together a couple of freelance articles. However, 2 years ago when they were on holiday, something happened between the two of them and they haven't spoken since. Poppy decides that she's going to invite Alex for one last hurrah. They're going to try and bring back the vibe that they had for the first time and see if the friendship that the two of them had could be salvaged. So Poppy is sent to Palm Springs for an assignment and Alex is in Palm Springs for his brother's wedding. This seems like the perfect time for them to get back together. Next up is Island Affair by Priscilla Oliveras, and this is a fake dating book about Sarah and Luis. Sarah's boyfriend has let her down one too many times, and now she is stranded by herself for a family wedding in Key West in Florida. She enlists the help of Luis, who is a local firefighter and that she's met a couple of times, to have him pretend to be her partner when she goes to the wedding. To avoid the same questions that you usually get from your family, when are you going to get married? When are you going to settle down? All of these kind of questions that always come up. Luis is so concentrated on remembering all of the details about how they got together and what their relationship is like that it seems like he's starting to blur the line between it being a fake dating and actually really feeling something for Sarah. However, she is concentrating so much on recovering from a recent eating disorder that maybe her head isn't in the right place for a relationship right now. If you'd like to have your summer vacation a little bit further away from the beach, then why don't you try the Scottish Highlands with The Summer Job by Lizzie Dent. This book is about Birdie, who has basically taken the dream job. She is now the sommelier for a 4-star hotel in the Scottish Highlands, but the problem is, this isn't Birdie's dream job. This is a job that was actually offered to her friend Heather, who has now gone on an Italian road trip to follow a guy that she has met while he was on holiday in the UK, and Birdie has no idea about wine. She knows red and white and rosé, and that is it. There are a couple of hijinks, there are a couple of really great friendships in this book, but there are also some absolutely stunning descriptions of the Scottish Highlands, of Scottish Highland cows. If that is something that is up your street and you don't want to spend your entire holiday in the sun, go and pick this one up. Next up is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This was Carly's debut and it is phenomenal. This is about Percy, or Persephone, and Sam, who had been best friends for ages, but Persephone has moved away and they haven't particularly kept in touch. However, Sam has gone through a family bereavement and Percy is coming back to the area to be with Sam as he is grieving. Over the course of 6 years, you find out what their friendship was like, what their relationship with each other was like, and why things had started to fall apart and why they had started to fall out of touch. I am so interested to see what Carly Fortune's next book, Meet Me at the Lake, is going to be like. And if you are spending your summer by the lake, maybe you could bring these 2 books with you. Next up is one perfect to read if you are going on a cruise. This is Float Plan by Trish Dollar. Again, this is a debut, and it's following Anna, who has recently lost her husband and is deep in the grieving process when a notification comes up on her phone that a trip they had planned is coming up soon. Anna decides to grab the opportunity and impulsively gets out on the sailboat that they had gotten together. But Anna doesn't exactly have the best sea legs and she's not sure what she should be doing. This is where Keane comes in. He is a budding sailor, he knows exactly how to run the yacht that Anna has, and he might be the perfect opportunity for Anna to help move past her grief and to become her own person again. Next up, I'm going to recommend a book, but also an author. The author is Isabel Broom, and the book that I'm going to recommend more than the others for this instance is The Getaway. Isabel writes some fiction that is set pretty much all over the world. In her books, I have traveled to Czechia, I have traveled to Spain, to Italy, to New Zealand, to New York, I think her new one is set in, but this one is probably the most summery on the list. You are following Kate, who has come to the town of Hvar in Croatia to escape a pretty public shaming that she has just gone through. She's got some secrets that she wants to keep to herself, and it feels like the best thing to do is to go somewhere that nobody will recognize her. But when she bumps into Alex, she realizes that they have a really great connection, but also she is not the only person in Hvar with their own secrets to keep. I really love Isabel's writing. It's so impactful, it's so immersive, it's so all encapsulating, and I've loved every single book of hers that I've read so far, so I really hope that she's one you're going to enjoy too. Next up is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This takes place across one whole day where a party is being held at the Riva mansion by one of the Riva children, and by the end of the day, the entire house is going to be on flames. You have no idea why, you have no idea how it's been started, you just know that the whole thing is going to go up in smoke. It also goes back to the past where you find Mick Riva meeting June, his wife, how they first came to meet each other, their relationship, their marriage, their 4 children, including Nina Riva, who is now the owner of the Riva mansion and is hosting this party where everything starts to go down. If you've never been to Malibu, like me, it will really immerse you into the kind of surfer lifestyle that is there. There are so many people in this book who are surfer lovers, and I really, really loved this aspect of it. It's also a really great opportunity to see what life is like for the children of rock stars or for rock stars themselves. I absolutely adored this book. Taylor Jenkins Reid can do no wrong for me, and this is another example of that. Finally is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This is the first of the Bellinger book duology, and it is set in the small fishing town of Westport in Washington. If you would really like to read a book that is set in that coastal vibe, if your family or you go to like fishing towns quite a lot for a holiday, this is the perfect one for you. In this book, you are following Piper, who is a bit of a wild child by LA standards. She is arrested one evening for breaking into a hotel to carry on the party that she has been at, and her stepfather decides that she's going to pay her reparations by going back to the town where her father had bought a hotel and a pub and bring it back to life. This sounds like a death sentence to Piper until she gets to Westport and meets with Brendan, who is a fisher living in the community. He is grieving the loss of his wife, but Piper is like a burst of sunshine into his life. And she really starts to integrate with the town. She really starts to make a name for herself as a good person among the town people. This is the only Tessa Bailey book that I have genuinely enjoyed. This is the only Tessa Bailey book that I think I would reread. So if that isn't good enough praise for you, I don't know what else will be. Those are all of the books that I think you should pack with you if you are going on holiday this summer. What book is the essential for you if you are going on holidays? If you'd like to leave me a comment but you can't think of anything you'd like to say, then just leave me a summer emoji. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.